FBI reveals why Shanquella Robinson's death was planned. It's been 2 months and some weeks, yet Shanquella Robinson's death never ceased to make the internet go crazy. And just when we thought we'd seen it all, the FBI has just put an end to different speculations by revealing the truth behind Shanquella's death. Was Shanquella's death really planned? I would have loved to go straight into the details, but for the sake of those who didn't know about the genesis of this case, let's go back in time to October 2022 on the 28th to be precise. Shanquella took a trip from North Carolina to Cabo in Mexico with her best friend Khalil Cook and 5 other friends, which includes Malix Patrick Dyer, Winter Essence Donovan, Alyssa Michelle Hyatt, Dejana Jackson, and Nazir Wiggins, all of whom she met at Winston-Salem University. They have all traveled to Mexico for a short trip and checked into a luxury apartment called the Puerto Los Cabos Resort. Apparently, not many people know about what happened on arrival, but on the second day, things began to take a turn for the worse. According to the report, around 2:13 p.m., a doctor from the American Medical Center was requested because of a resident of Puerto Los Cabos who was reportedly not feeling well. When the doctor arrived at the apartment, she found Shanquella in stable condition, but she was dehydrated, unresponsive, and looking intoxicated. The doctor recommended that she should be taken to the hospital, but Shanquella's companions insisted that she be treated in the apartment. The doctor attempted to administer an IV fluid to keep her body hydrated, but could not proceed as Shanquella suffered a tonic-clonic seizure. Soon, she started having trouble breathing, so the doctor had no choice but to call an ambulance. By the time the ambulance arrived, Shanquella suffered a cardiac arrest, which prompted the paramedics to administer rounds of CPR on her and also shots of adrenaline and electrical discharge from a defibrillator. Unfortunately, all attempts to bring Shanquella back proved abortive. These are what was reported by the police because, according to them, the doctor had briefed them about the whole incident and there was no observation of internal or external injury. Based on this report and investigation, the Mexican authorities said there was no clear evidence that Shanquella was murdered. According to the doctor, she told the police that Shanquella's companions told him she had too much alcohol. Therefore, all of this information was what the police used to conclude that Shanquella died of alcohol poisoning. Around the same time the doctor was called, Shanquella's mother, named Salamandra Robinson, also got a call from Khalil, who was Shanquella's best friend, saying Shanquella had too much to drink and that a doctor was coming to treat her. Salamandra had no idea she would never see her daughter alive again.
And my beliefs. And they just said that it was alcohol poison. And when the police came in to investigate, they could have looked at her and said it seemed that she had been jumped on.
The last time she heard from her daughter was on the day she got to Mexico, when she called to say she was heading out to eat tacos. Khalil and the others returned to North Carolina without Shanquella. Khalil, who was Shanquella's best friend, went to Shanquella's house with her luggage. He told Salamandra that her daughter was ill due to excessive consumption of alcohol. Salamandra suspected that something was off, and her suspicion even grew worse when she spoke to others about her daughter's death. There were too many inconsistencies in their stories, and to make matters worse, they all came back without Shanquella's body. The media went crazy about this incident, and a lot of people demanded that the case be thoroughly investigated. While Shanquella's father, Bernard Robinson, went to Mexico to get his daughter's body, he could not easily find an English speaker who would help him find his way and move the body. Luckily, he connected with a woman that works at the villa who told him that his daughter didn't die of alcohol poisoning, but from a neck injury.
When I saw it, I couldn't see it for a few seconds. And I saw that she was there naked, man. I just broke down and started crying. And then I seen the guys in the room. Really?
Soon, a video surfaced on the internet which shows naked Shanquella being beaten by one of her friends, while others watched and filmed the incident. In the video, one of the guys was heard saying Shanquella should fight back at least, while she refused by saying no. Apparently, Shanquella didn't lift her hand to fight back despite how much her friend was beating her. Bernard was still looking for a gravesite for his daughter when he learned about the heartbreaking video.
And tried to lie and say it was alcohol.
Can you at least wait back?
Stop it.
He asked his daughter's friends, who would most times come to their home to mourn Shanquella with them, what they had done to his daughter. He said they never mentioned anything about the fight.
My daughter, she's not a fighter. I ain't raised her to be that kind of way. I raised her to love and respect people.
Salamandra confronted them about the fight, and that was the last time they had seen any of them at their house. A lot of people found that video strange and suspected that Shanquella's friends planned or knew something about her death at the least. On November 4, 2022, an autopsy report which describes Shanquella's death was released. The report shows that she died about 15 minutes after suffering a chronic spinal cord injury and an atlas luxation, which means a dislocation or separation of the skull base from the first bone of the neck, called the atlas bone. With the leaked video in this autopsy report, it is clear as day that Shanquella died a violent death. Also, the autopsy report never mentioned that cardiac arrest or alcohol poisoning was the cause of her death. The United States Department of State then released a statement showing their awareness and cooperation. The statement reads, "We are aware of these reports. Protecting the welfare of U.S. citizens overseas is among our top priorities. Out of respect for the privacy of those involved, we have no further comment at this time." One of the reasons why the internet is going bonkers is because for over 2 weeks, the Robinsons tried to convince the authorities that Shanquella was murdered, but nothing was done even though there was a video of the violence circulating on the net. According to Shanquella's mother, they also noticed signs of trauma on her body after it was collected from Mexico, which shows that Shanquella was violently attacked before she died. It seemed the authorities were waiting for more evidence before they took action concerning the case. And on November 18, 2022, the FBI confirmed that it had opened an investigation concerning Shanquella's death. On November 25, 2022, the Attorney General of the Baja California Prosecutor's Office announced an arrest court order was issued which was relating to a femicide charge. Just to be clear, femicide is the act of murdering women because of their gender. If anyone gets convicted of femicide, they can get up to 60 years in prison. It is still not clear how this is related to femicide because for now, authorities are yet to disclose the suspect in this case. However, due to the video that was leaked by a Twitter user, there's been speculation that the suspect for whom an arrest order was issued is none other than Hannah Jackson, who was identified as the one hitting Shanquella in the video. The video shows a lot of violence, and the fact that those that were present were filming the incident instead of stopping Hannah from hitting Shanquella shows that there's a possibility that the murder was premeditated. What further brought confusion was another video that revealed Shanquella's friends making a plan without getting her involved. Although no one knows if the plan had anything to do with the death, it only shows that they were hiding something before the incident. Also, filming the incident was probably because they wanted to humiliate or blackmail Shanquella. She was filmed naked while her friend was hitting her. No one except those that were present at the scene knows the motive behind such a cruel act, but nothing changes the fact that the trip to Mexico had more than just a motive. Although authorities have not named the suspect, they have confirmed in an interview that Shanquella did not die from excessive consumption of alcohol and also not from a fight, but from a direct assault that resulted in a spinal cord fracture. At least, Shanquella's family can feel a little bit relieved that their daughter's case is taken seriously and that there's progress every day. The case has left Twitter users talking about being careful about who we call our friends.
Even though their child is still old enough to take care of themselves and do their own thing, but still at the same time, they still got to, make sure who they friends they keep around them.
Charlotte is going to hold this family down, because Shanquella is a native of Charlotte, North Carolina.
A Twitter user wrote, "Any one of us could have been Shanquella Robinson. The core of the matter is people she called her friends orchestrated her death. There are enemies who disguise themselves as friends as loved ones that sent a message to us all." While another wrote, "The Shanquella Robinson story is proof positive of why you cannot be friends with someone who thinks you have it all while they don't. Their admiration turns into envy and then hate and eventually sabotage." What are your thoughts about this case? Let us know in the comment section.